the TV series Loki, it's a wild question, a fun adventure from beginning to end. I enjoyed all 6 episodes of this show. If you're a fan of Tom Hiddleston's Loki from the MCU, then you will love this show just as well. Check it out. I highly recommend it. This review will have spoilers and major plot points, so spoiler warning if you haven't seen all 6 episodes of this first season. So Loki is a time variant of the original timeline. And of course, we all saw him escape in Avengers Endgame, during that timeline there. And so he comes across the Time Variance Authority, the TVA. They are an organization that exists outside time and space, and they monitor the timeline. So basically, they give Loki 2 choices. Either be erased from existence because he's a time variant, or help them stop a great threat. And from there, you got one very interesting show. This show's great. I love it. I enjoyed Tom Hiddleston's Loki ever since I first saw him in the first Thor film. But one thing I don't try to get 100%, this is not the Loki from Avengers Infinity War. So this Loki hasn't gone through Thor the Dark World or Thor Ragnarok. He's not reformed. I mean, for crying out loud, he tried to take over the earth. He basically telling people that he is above them.
Please don't. I still need that.
This doesn't have to get any messier.
Of course it does. I've come too far for anything else. I am Loki of Asgard, and I am burdened with glorious purpose.
Loki, brother of Thor. We have no quarrel with your people.
An ant has no quarrel with a boot.
You planning to step on us?
I come with glad tidings of a world made free.
Free from what?
Freedom. Freedom is life's great lie. Once you accept that in your heart, you will know peace.
Before me. I said... No! Is not this simpler? Is this not your natural state? It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy in a mad scramble for power, for identity. You were made to be ruled. In the end, you will always kneel.
I find it hard to believe this Loki is different because of all the bad things he did in the first Avengers movie. Now, obviously, he sees his life reel go by in the first episode. He comes across Morbius, who is played by Owen Wilson. And let me just say, I love the chemistry between Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. It's great. And then you have some other characters like Sylvie, who is a variant of Loki. And she's attacking the sacred timeline because she wants to take the TVA out. And of course, the timekeepers. But then, we find out around, episode 4 that the timekeepers are not even real. And it's not just that, though. There's a whole bit of plot and development here. And one thing I want to point out, D.B. Cooper being Loki, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know about D.B. Cooper before I saw the first episode of this season. So, well, it gave me a little history lesson there. And it's not just that. You have other characters such as B-15, and then you have Loki and Sylvie going to different apocalypse, if you will, to try to solve this whole mystery. And then we found out that a lot of members from the TVA are variants. And then there's a whole bigger plot in itself. Nonetheless, though, one thing I liked about episode 4 was that we get learn more about why this Loki cares about Sylvie. Seriously, am I supposed to believe the guy who really tried to take over the Earth, maybe like a week prior or whatever, has feelings for his variant? I don't know. It's just a little hard for me to believe. I mean, time does wonders. Well, I was told a long time ago. And I felt like the Loki in the original timeline, it's just not the same as this variant Loki here. Nonetheless, though, some people say episode 5 was like very interesting because you have all these Lokis. I mean, it's pretty great, I must say. Alligator Loki. Isn't that something? But nonetheless, though, this is a very entertaining season 1 of this TV series. And it is very enjoyable. So we find out in episode 5 that the timekeepers are fake. So basically, who's behind it? Well, the character He Who Remains, played by John DeMatris, which is interesting because he's playing Kang the Conqueror and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And not only that though, Sylvie kills He Who Remains, and so before he's taken out, he says that more variants will be unleashed in the timeline. It's all over the damn place. And so, what we see is that Kang the Conqueror is basically coming to MCU. So I found that real interesting because he's one of the most big bads from the comic books. And I'm looking forward to how John DeMatris plays that character. Hopefully nowhere near as goofy as the character he played in this, episode 6 of the first season. I know, probably not, but still, it was interesting nonetheless that we get his first appearance in that episode. Nonetheless, though, there are some other things I want to talk about, such as that how come Loki changed so quickly? Yeah, like I mentioned before, he saw his life real. He saw how he dies in Avengers Infinity War. But for him to change that fast, this is the same Asgardian that tried to take over the Earth and destroy the Avengers. And I'm not buying 100%. But nonetheless, I find it a little funny that it happened so fast. Like, this could have been an MCU movie just titled Loki, because while it had its slow parts, it was interesting in a lot of these episodes. Even episode 3, a lot of people say it felt like filter. Or filler. It felt like a filler episode, but everyone's opinions are different. One thing I will say though is that despite, Tom Hiddleston playing Loki as long as he has, it's good that we finally get like a TV series based off this character. Sure, it's not the same character from Infinity War, the character that went through all those changes in those Thor movies, but still, this is some good Marvel stuff. I'm giving this first season an 8 out of 10. I highly enjoyed these episodes of Loki. I mean, they were funny, they were entertaining. It was great seeing the variant Lokis in episode 5. Alligator Loki, enough said. The acting is great. And when you have a story revolving around the TVA, it certainly makes for some interesting surprises, to say the least. I can't wait for season 2. I'm glad this wasn't a one-off. Like, they are going to continue this series. My question is, what happens to Loki? He obviously didn't die in this first season, but I'm wondering what's going to happen to Loki at the end of all this? Is he going to go back to the original timeline, sacred timeline? Is he going to avoid that timeline basically where he dies by Thanos? I don't know. It's real interesting, but I will say is that the sky's the limit for this series. There's a lot of story be told. And of course, the shit that went down episode 6 now that Kang the Conqueror is on his way. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. And it certainly is surprisingly a good show. Now, I saw a trailer to this before it premiered. I didn't think it would be this good, but my goodness, is it a very good TV series about one of the most interesting characters from the MCU. And that's my review of the first season of Loki. Alright, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you thought about this first season. And are you looking forward to season 2? Okay, this is Swim Guy 172 saying, peace out.